Okay, so this one is on the dwarf fruit orchard. Think small, planting a dwarf fruit orchard. The fruits produced by dwarf trees are every bit as large and tasty as those on standard sized trees. The basic differences between standard and dwarf trees are in their growth habits. A dwarf fruit tree grows less vigorously than a standard tree, is smaller at maturity, and begins to produce blossoms and fruits at an earlier age, as soon as the second year after planting. There are the other advantages as well. In the space needed by 4 standard sized apple trees, planted 40 by 40 feet, you could plant 30 to 40 dwarf trees without crowding them. That's actually good to know. I don't know if the ones I have are dwarf varieties. I'll have to look. This lets you plant early, mid-season, and late ripening varieties to extend the harvest period, and I'm going to look into doing that as well. And that's another reason why it would be cool to have the other tract of land, because we could extend out our orchard area too. Okay, dwarf A and dwarf A and semi-dwarf. Okay. This is the dwarf, semi-dwarf, and then standard size.
Last month he was passed over for chief of surgery.
So,
get a warrant for his house.
What can I do to help?
How big are dwarf-sized trees? The following are appropriate diameters of some full-grown fruit trees. When you plant them, allow enough additional room so that you will be able to walk through them, and so that light can reach the entire exterior of each tree. So I'm gonna have to remember that. Sorry. Considering that we want to do 14 of each tree, and the only reason I'm thinking that is because there's probably going to be about 7 of us living on the property. And I'm also counting possibly having the other tract of land. So, and yes, it's because of Leanne and her couple of family members too, so. And possibly Andrew. So, anyway.
Killage takes the power of life and death and heaven's the power of God. You know anyone like that? I want you to understand.
So,
when my patients are in the operating room,
the fruit trees and the crown diameter, an apple tree, the standard size apple tree, crown diameter needs 25 to 35 feet between each tree. I don't have any apple trees yet. I do still need, I need to plant those seeds. I would like to plant some, like, direct sow them into the ground. Because we'll get fruit from them sooner. And there's a possibility that we could create our own variety. So, I don't know. Alright, the semi-dwarf apple tree only needs 15 to 20 feet of crown diameter between each tree. Excuse me. The dwarf apple tree only needs 7 to 10 feet between each. Right, apricot, which I haven't found yet. I'm gonna probably have to order it either through the nursery here or online.
Well, he shoots 3 people at a time, but he can only operate on one at a time. It wouldn't be any more exciting.
Oh, weird, sorry. The standard apricot tree needs 18 feet between each, the crown diameter between each tree. And the dwarf, there is no semi-dwarf. The dwarf apricot trees only needs 8 feet of crown diameter between each one. Peach trees, standard 18 feet. Dwarf 8. And I'm not sure which ones the Red Havens are, but I'll let you guys know. Alright, and the pear, standard is 18 feet, dwarf is 8. Plum, standard is 18, the dwarf is 8. And a quince, which I've never even seen anywhere, needs 12 feet of crown diameter between each. The plum trees I think we have are standard. So I'll have to make sure there's 18 feet at least between. Now, I figured at least 20 feet between each tree. So it's pretty close, except for the apple trees. I think I bit my tongue. Alright, so here we go. I'm going to go ahead and read Encouraging Pollination, because the next couple of pages after that is going to be another video. I'm going to read Encouraging Pollination and then the fruit varieties for beginning growers. So, encouraging pollination. Nearly all fruit trees do better with a mate, although a few are self-fertile, which means that a single tree can bear fruit by itself. Most need what is known as cross-pollination and require a partner nearby. Sorry. Getting ahead of myself. I'm getting tired too. In order to cross-pollinate each other, the trees must be in the same family group. Apples cannot pollinate pears, nor can pears pollinate plums. You therefore need at least 2 different varieties of each species of the fruit tree you plant. That's not going to be an issue because I'm planning on having. Alright, I'm planting 14 trees for each different type of fruit, okay? And each different brand, whatever, each different variety. Like I have 2 Red Haven peach trees. I'm going to get the Alberta peach tree. The Alberta is a self-pollinator, which is a good thing because I've only got 1. Now I'm going to try really hard to get that this week. Really hard. I might have to get it tomorrow. They still have the Bella of Georgia tree or Bella of Georgia tree peach trees. I'm gonna get 2 of those. Those are still the $15 trees. And those are 2, different from the ones I have, obviously. And apple trees, I want at least 2 Honeycrisp, 2 Granny Smith, of course, probably 2 Macintosh. I'd take 2 Gala, 2 Fuji. I want at least 2 Liberty ones. I would like to get 2 Pixie Crunch, 2 Sweet 16s. Those I'm going to have to order out from a different site, though. So I'll probably go down to the nursery with Andrew at some point, since he knows the woman that owns it, and see what they have down there. And check out their prices and stuff like that. So when I do that, I'll let you guys know in a video afterward. But anyway, so that's not going to be an issue. And with the plum trees, I don't know if they have the plum trees in the bigger ones or not. They only have the one kind in the plum trees. So I have 2. So I need 12 more, which means I need 6 different varieties from the ones that I have. I don't even know if there is 6 different varieties. I might end up having to get the other 2 $15 plum trees that are there. That'll give me 4 of those. And then work on possibly getting the Stanley plum online. I don't know if we can get it at the nursery or not. Anyway, so.
Oh, yeah, James, tell him. Tell him.
Let me see.
Get it wrong, he's gonna kill you.
Most ornamentals, vegetables, and fruit trees are pollinated by insects, primarily bees. And this is also another reason why I'm planning on our beehives being near our orchard. And I think
What else do you know?
I really want to go over that poster. I might do it tonight. I don't know.
6 years before.
Anyway, but I'm planning on our beehives being near our orchard and our garden, and I'm gonna plant a complete beehive flower garden in between the beehives and the orchard in our gardens. And on the poster, I moved the beehives back because I redid the poster.
Sabotage you every chance.
What's wrong?
Bad person. This is help save all of your victims.
Yeah, it's because it was behind the pillow. You can't sit on it.
It wasn't sitting on it. It was sitting next to it.
13.
It's got to be up off from, it can't be in between things. Especially pillows. Anyway. Yeah, I'm gonna plant a complete beehive flower garden in between the beehives and the orchard in our gardens. Because that way it'll also make it to where they don't have to travel very far for food. Because remember, one of the things we covered in our other beekeeping videos is that bees will travel up to 5 miles in search of food. And keeping them at home will make it to where, we know what is in the honey. We know that there's not going to be chemicals and pesticides and that kind of thing in the honey, and we know that the bees aren't going to be bringing that back to the hives and making the other ones sick and, like losing our hives and the bees and stuff like that. So it's just kind of a ripple effect. Very, very, very important for you to plant a whole bunch of different varieties of things that will keep your bees at home.
Wouldn't say I want to help people when they come.
As a rule, bees should not have to fly more than 500 to 600 feet to bring about the mating of two blossoms. So, where I've got them will be just right. And again, I think I might go over that tonight, so. When only one kind of fruit tree is blooming and no suitable partner is blossoming anywhere in the neighborhood, here's a tip. Drive to an abandoned farm or ask a neighboring gardener if you can have a few branches from a fruit tree that always blossoms at the same time as yours. Bring the branches home and put them in a bucket of water under the tree. The bees will take over from there. When bees are scarce, you can sometimes pollinate a few of your fruit trees yourself. Take a small artist paintbrush and gently dust the pollen from the flowers into a teacup. Then brush it carefully onto the blossoms of an adjoining tree. If you do this, mark the limbs to show which ones you have treated. Or if you have the energy, you could pollinate the entire tree. It only takes a short time to pollinate a small orchard of dwarf trees, since you need to dust only one bloom in a cluster. Okay. So,
you know why they took away Boy Genius's gun? Why? He failed his qualification.
Fruit varieties for beginning growers. All right, here we go, and this goes from zones. So, make sure, guys, get pen and paper, and I'm going to pause for a minute. Get pen and paper and write this down so you have this information. Remember, do not rely on electronics for your information for future use. Really, yeah. Use your electronics to get information, but take the time to write down the information or type it out and print it. If you don't have a printer, write it out so you have it on hard copy. All right, so get a pen and paper, and I'll give you a minute.
Do a favor. You could ask. Figure the chances of my getting out of here alive are pretty slim.
Excuse me.
It's not this kid. He's made my life.
Okay. So, zone 3. The apple tree. Remember, this is zone 3. Zone 3. Zone 3 for the apple trees. Astration. Astrachan. I don't know if I pronounced that right, or a Strachan or something. Connell, Connell. Dolgo crab, Dolgocrab. Duchess, Duchess. Prairie spy. Quint, Quinte.
The message.
Wealthy, and yellow transparent. Okay. Cherry plum. Compass. Sepulta. Peach. None for zone 3. Pear. Golden spice. Luscious. Mendel. Mendall. Parker and Patton. Patten. Plum. Lacrescent. Pipestone. Redcoat, and Juanita. Waneta. Sour cherry, Meteor and North Star. Sweet cherry, none for zone 3. Alright, zone 4. Growers in this zone should be able to grow everything listed for zone 3, plus the following. Alright, apples, Portland. Imperial, Lobo, Lodi, which is Lodi, Macintosh, Northwest Greening, and Regent. Peach, Reliance in favored spots. Pear, Flemish Beauty, Kiefer, Kieffer. And Seckel, Seckel. Plum, Green Gage, Monitor, and Stanley. Stanley's my favorite plums. Sweet cherry, none. Sour cherry, Richmond. Zone 5. Okay. Zone 5 is what we were in Michigan. Growers in this zone should be able to grow everything listed for zones 3 and 4 plus the following. Apples. Delicious. Red and the golden. Empire. Gravenstein. That's Gravenstein. Northern Spy. Prima, which is Prima. Priscilla. Rhode Island Greening. Yellow Delicious. It doesn't say anything about Honeycrisp, but I know Honeycrisp will grow in zones 5. Peach. Starfrost King. Stark. Surecrop. And Sunapee, which is Sunapee. Sunapee. Blech. Plum. Burbank, Damson, Early Blue, Italian, Santa Rosa, and Shiro. I also know the Stanley will grow in Michigan as well, but they also said everything in the okay. Sour cherry, Montmorency. Sweet cherry, Bing, the Dukes, Stella, and Windsor. See, the Stella cherry trees would have grown. And I think Tim killed my trees. Alright, zone 6 to 8. Now we're in zone 7A down here. Many varieties will grow in the colder zones. Will also do well here. But certain kinds of fruits developed, especially for the colder climates, may not be satisfactory for these zones. Alright, here we go. Apple. Golden, Grimes, Rome, Stamen, and Winnisop should all do well here. Apples that grow best in zone 3, including those of the Macintosh family, are not recommended. Okay. Cherry, all should do well. Well, I'm going to get the cherry tree. My boob hurts. Sorry, guys. I'm going to get some cherry trees anyway, even if I have to order them online, and we're going to plant them. Peach. Candor, Alberta, Halehaven, Madison, and Redhaven. The Redhaven are the ones that we have 2 of. And I think they also have the Halehaven peaches too. So I'll get 2 of those. So that'll give us 6 peach trees. 7, if I can get the Alberta. The pear trees. Anjou, Bartlett, Bosque, Clapp, and Favorite. And I know the Bartlett pear trees will grow in Michigan because the pear tree that we had growing up, or when I was growing up, at the corner of our garden,
Just playing.
out near the road, that pear tree was a Bartlett pear tree.
Kids, go get that.
All right, plum, most should do well. And that's a good thing because I want my Stanley plums. Okay, so that was all for Think Small, planting a dwarf fruit orchard, and then encouraging pollination and the different varieties. The next one is on planting a fruit tree in 3 simple steps. So I will close this one out because it's over 20 minutes, and I'm going to get this one out there, and I will see you guys in a few minutes. Bye, guys.